Word Temple Israel Synagogue. I was 13 years old, and on that day, as prescribed by Jewish custom, I was officially pronounced by Rabbi Sherman, "You are a man today." But by then, I had been pronounced by my school class a Mofi, a Pufta, Nancy boy, queer, pansy. That was added to my 13th bar mitzvah year.
Sparky was a little boy just about your age, maybe a little older by now. He had been taking piano lessons for almost a whole year and was already on his third piece.
At home, I willingly practiced the piano, playing every day for hours and hours. I was going to be the next Vladimir Horowitz. I was the next Arthur Rubinstein, my Boba would say. My whole family crowded into the playroom on a Saturday after lunch to listen to me perform Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. I also listened to musicals. I knew all the songs from them. Without fail, my mother and father brought me back from every overseas trip a record of the latest musical on West End. I learned all the words to the songs. Together with my sister Danny, we would use glass stoppers from the Kiddush wine decanter as our microphones. But my favorite album was Sparky.
Who's calling me?
It is I, your piano.
My piano? But you're talking.
I did not make the rugby team at school. I had asthma and eczema, and the backs of my legs were a battlefield of scabs and welts covered in calamine lotion. I dreaded entering into my school locker room for gym classes. This is when the bullying usually
I don't
began.
get to play outside as much as the other kids.
Sparky, you're good. Don't stop your piano studies now.
I knew I was different, but I did not really understand what was making me different. Was there a mark on my face? Was there some kind of giveaway sign? A version of a yellow star or a pink star on my blazer, which was invisible to me, but which everyone else seemed to notice.
Sit down and listen, Sparky. Someday you'll
Be a Muffy.
if you keep at it. Listen to the whole thing, Sparky. Maybe you'll appreciate
Being a Muffy.
Yes, Miss Spear.
Well, goodbye, Sparky.
Goodbye.
I'd heard the word homosexual being used by my Boba when I overheard her tell her friend Reva Hoffman that her other best friend, Nita Stodel's manservant Jackson, was a homosexual and that it was the bane of her life. He was unreliable because he was constantly having boyfriend problems. When I practiced my bar mitzvah speech before the big day, my father suggested to me that I record it on my new Sony portable recorder, which had been given to me by my Uncle Louis. Then I could have a recording for posterity, he said. You might even want to listen to it one day.
My bar mitzvah speech. Family, friends, Rabbi Sherman and Mrs. Sherman. I'd like to thank you all very much for coming here today. And I'd like to especially thank Mom and Dad for being the most wonderful parents in the world. When there is a problem, there's always your parents to turn to. Now I'd like to individually thank my parents. Dad also had his problems. His problems were coping with Mom's problems. Therefore, he must have had the time.
I kept the analog cassette in a box marked Bar Mitzvah for 30 years. In it were the Bar Mitzvah cards, telegrams, thank you notes, a noted inventory my parents made me make of money and gifts I'd received, and my handwritten Bar Mitzvah speech on pale blue writing paper. In 2007, now a professional composer and sound artist, I hauled out my vinyl record collection and found the album Sparky and the Magic Piano. Together with the old cassette recordings of my speech, I sampled these recordings, I learned the words of my speech and re-recorded this in my adult voice to disrupting the Sparky narrative with those cruel words which had taunted me as a young child. The recordings, the mitzvah speech, all of these went into the piano in a space which I created for the Spear Contemporary Art Exhibition in 2007.
Who's that? Who's calling me?
It is I, your piano.
The speech and the record were now on display. I might add that Maya was there naked, or his photograph was, if I remember. I wanted to ask people who entered the space to consider the notion of manhood and adulthood within the context of a young boy at the moment of his bar mitzvah.
At the opera house, so he played Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. And so it went until finally he reached it. And the most important, he was to play with at Hall.
This year my own music will be performed at Carnegie Hall. So this is not a dream, I tell Sparky and the Magic Piano. I will be there.